Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Well, I must say it's tremendous to be informed, connected, and I forget the other one, but I'm that too for sure. Well, we're having a great week here at Freed on Business, and we're going to have a great show today. We've got Olivia Ramos on, our futurist, our artificial intelligence expert. Olivia, I've gotten so much great feedback from your last time about what how we're going to live in 25 years and the impact on all my apartment guys. I talk to them, the apartment guys and condo guys, about it all the time, and I make them listen. Blows their mind. So thank you so much for being on the show this week. I can't wait to hear what good stuff you have to talk about today. We're broadcast. I look a little goofy today because the lighting isn't perfect, because I'm broadcasting live from the Warren Henry Studios here at 151st and Biscayne. Always the best service, always the best price, not the best lighting for my podcast. Always Warren Henry. I love them. We'll work on the lighting here in the Warren Henry Studios for next time. Always want to thank our hosts, Larry Zinn, Eric Day, Rebecca Wolf, and my good friend Maytal Stark, who makes sure my stuff always works right. So come on back. I'll do it again on the other side. We'll talk to Olivia, who's graced us with her presence and her intellect. We'll be back after this. Remember, we're South Florida's longest running business talk show, and our sponsors, Warren Henry, have been with us since 2013. Wow, that's a really long time. They're tremendous people. I love coming to their store just to hang out with the folks that work here. It really is like a family. Makes you feel good, especially in today's harsh environment that we sometimes have to go to. So when you're looking for a place to buy or lease your next car, you want to get every advantage that you can. I'm getting ready to get Vivian a new car in a couple of months. We're going to get another Warren Henry car. You have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar here at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. I drove past one of those awesome Audi sports cars. Maybe that's what I'll get next. And down in the Keys, they sell them all. I got my eye on a really cool Jeep that I may want to get. So Audi sports car, Jeep, I'm not really sure yet. Maybe both. What do they both have in common? Well, they're both great cars, and they both come with Warren Henry Advantage. That means you get complimentary. Oops, I got a read ball here. Hold on. You get complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and my favorite, 72-hour exchange. You get 3 days to make sure you like your Warren Henry car. Guess what? You will. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Got to get that in there. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. I love that PSA. It describes my wife so well. She's tremendous. She's strong. She's kind. I love her so much. She's my inspiration. Hey, my other inspiration, you, my friends, my supporters, the people that connect with me. How do you inspire me? You inspire me every day by connecting and sending me positive energy and great ideas. So call me. I'm doing all kinds of wonderful things with family offices, investment firms, private REITs, development deals, redevelopment deals, all kinds of stuff. I'm working with a lot of families to help them solve their real estate issues. So if I can work with you, give me a call if you think I can help. All I want to do is help. Just reach out. Why? Because when you reach out to me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Hi, we're on with my favorite artificial intelligence expert, Olivia Ramos. We vision the future. All my friends really love this, Olivia, so I'm really looking forward to this. I apologize for the view that I give, but we're broadcasting live today from the Warren Henry studios, and I'm still working out the kinks to get the lighting right. But I want to thank our hosts today, Warren Henry, Larry, Warren, Eric, especially Samantha and her marketing team. We love them all. They treat us with such respect and kindness. It's great to be a part of the Warren Henry family. Olivia, what do we got? Oh, and by the way, they have great coffee too. Olivia, tell me about the future. Ask me about the future. Let's talk about what's happening.
Well, thank you, Jim, for having me again. I really enjoyed our last conversation on the future of virtual reality as it relates to the cities, and I go back to it and I have a lot of fun watching it. And so I'm looking forward to this next topic, which is Internet of Things, or IoT.
The Internet of Things?
Yes.
I want to say something. She doesn't tell me what the topic is. We don't have any pre-discussion. She just lobs it at me and then we talk. It's really tremendous. Thank you so much, Olivia. I'm really excited.
Me too. So when you hear Internet of Things, what do you think about? Like, what first comes to mind?
The first thing that comes to mind when I think about the Internet of Things is the inability to secure the network and having hackers use it to hyper drive their crimes. I'm sorry. It's just I'm too oversensitized to that particular issue. Other than that, I think of the Internet of Things as being the next wave of how we're going to do stuff, and probably is intimately involved in what we talked about last month, artificial intelligence in the hat suits. Because without having the internet in your house, you can't do that, right?
Exactly. So let me give you a little bit of background. The Internet of Things, the name came out in 1999, but it's been around since the 1850s. There was a group of scientists that connected a balloon to a computer, to a machine, to print different data points that they got from the clouds. So basically, it's one machine connecting to another machine. That's what the Internet of Things is for those who are new to the subject. And until this point, there's been tons of problems with security, with the size of the devices, with the transfer of information from one device to another. But we can say that most of these things are being solved with the latest technology. So in terms of the size of the device, Moore's law comes in and we're getting faster and smaller and cheaper technologies exponentially. So that's solving that. Yeah, go ahead.
So the 5G rollout is really important to this. That's why
right.
You need the antenna virtually on different sides of the building.
Right. So the Moore's law is relevant for the device itself. The transfer of information, this is where either Wi-Fi or cellular comes in, and advancements such as 5G make a huge difference. For sure. And then when it comes to security and the privacy of the data, then you have technology such as blockchain, which allows this information to be secure and unaltered and practically unhackable. So yes, you have some thoughts there.
So I've been hearing a lot about blockchain for a long time now. Relatively long time. Within the context of this internet thing, it's a relatively long time now. Blockchain, if the internet's been around for 30 years, blockchain's been here for 5 now. Okay. So my real question is, I'm hearing blockchain. So far, blockchain's brought us like one thing: crime. It brought us.
Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop you.
All the cyber stuff. All of the.
This is good. This is good, but
Bitcoin?
I want to focus on Internet of Things. So we are going to have a podcast for blockchain. I promise. And we can make that the next one if you want, and we can get into all of that. Blockchain, all I'm saying is that it allows for data to be safe, is a safe database for Internet of Things. So
now I'm going to stay within the rails of that discussion.
Yes. So question, and there are a lot of things within Internet of Things that touch on a bunch of different subjects. I want to focus on Internet of Things as it relates to buildings and real estate, because we can get into healthcare, we can get into the supply chain of food, and there's tons of benefits for the Internet of Things. But when it comes to real estate, the first thing I think about is the ability to track whether buildings are safe, secure, and efficient. And my question to you is, do you think this data of the integrity of a structure, the integrity of a ground, and the amount of resources it produces or consumes, is that public or private data? Should that be available to the public?
Yes. It should be available to the public on a legislated and defined basis. I think it should be public. I think that I think they will. I think the buildings are going to need to have GPS monitors on the top so that they can monitor their movement, their settling, their shifting. I think you'll see the development probably of, I don't know if this is happening, but it certainly makes sense to me, of a monitor that they could place on the pilings to see whether or not they're deteriorating, doing a continuous X-ray monitoring, or doing it on a periodic basis. If it's been identified, maybe that's the law. You identify, you go through, you inspect it. If it's got a flaw, you put something on it. We're looking for a place to live. We think we found it. It's a building that's just gone through its recertification. You think it's perfect. You think it's wonderful. And then you go look at it, and you see something that maybe isn't. And then this isn't on the Internet of Things. This is on the hardwired universe. So you see the wires on the outside of the building bringing cable. So that means that no matter how wonderful your connection is, it's only as strong as that outside little wire, which ain't so strong. So I think that part of the issue with the Internet of Things within the context of buildings is, first of all, new versus old, which is a cost issue. How do I retrofit an old building, which is the one that needs it the most? Going forward, if I put it in, remember we talked about the 25-year-old development person at the related group that's going to be running the place in 25 years. They need to know this now. Where are they going to put it in their building? Is it in the design right now? Is it something people are going to need or want in 10 years? And if it is, why can't they design it now? The answer is they can. It will increase the cost of the building. I think only nominally, though. And I think that if you say that you're a building that's constantly monitored, condo, or let's just say any kind of building, that it'd be something that would be a good thing in marketing either your condo or for rent. I think it'll be something that people are going to want to ask for in due diligence when they're looking around to buy.
And even beyond that, and again, we're not going to get into blockchain today, but there is the subject of tokenization of assets and the ability to make assets instantly liquid and partially liquid. So if you're going to have an asset that anyone can purchase, almost like publicly
anyone, anywhere,
assets,
anywhere, exactly. Anyone, anyway,
then I believe it would be correct to have all this data transparent and open to the public, where if people are investing in a certain building or a portion of that building, they get to see real operating expenses, real sort of efficiency or inefficiency in the building, and real kind of data on the sanity of the structure over time.
Well, I think that you blended a couple of things there. I don't think that the operating expenses should be public record. Okay.
Why not?
That's because that's internal to the business operation of the building, and I don't think that you should have all of that be publicly available. I think because I think that it's private information that's based on the private sector's operations, and it's their confidential information. If I'm looking to buy a building, I signed a confidentiality. It's not open to the public. Now, you want to talk about the structure? The structures, I think the structure open to the public, okay, public record. But the business operations, I don't think that's public record. You want to know the operational, issues in my condo? You go get the condo docs and you read them. That's not necessarily publicly available. My apartment building, if I'm a public company, you may be able to parse it through my generally compiled stuff, but I don't think that you can identify me in an individual way. That would be something for the Securities and Exchange Commission. Listen to me. I think it's time for a break so I can catch my breath. We'll be right back with more mind-bending real estate questions from the smartest real estate person I know Olivia Ramos, artificial intelligence expert and really intelligent person. Reagan, rocket. Here I am. I'm Jim Fried. I'm on the Fried on Business podcast. We've been on for like 13 years. This is a radio show, and now is the podcast where I'm with Olivia Ramos, the artificial intelligence expert, who's blowing my mind. But it's time to talk about where I am right now. Where am I now? I'm in the kids' room, where I belong, at Warren Henry. I call Warren Henry Studios because there's nobody here, and I'm doing my show. I feel at home here. I feel like family here. I kibitzed out by the coffee place. They have great coffee. Everybody is wonderful. Why is that important? Because cars are commodities, but the place isn't. These people are tremendous. I talk about it all the time. I talk about being a member of the Warren Henry family. But let me tell you this. When Vivian needed a kidney, Warren Henry, they're all about the National Kidney Foundation. They helped us. They supported us. They would let me go to their events and literally go in their offices and cry. And they would come and hug me and tell me it was going to be okay. That's who these people are. When I say thank you to Larry and Warren and Eric and Samantha, it's because they've literally shown me love. Now I'm going to read their little thing, but that's the truth. It's truth. So I really mean this. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar here at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, I want to get my sports car. I'll get that Audi. It smokes. Down in the Keys, they've got Jeeps, everything. Ford, fancy style, everything. You need it, they got it. What do they have in common? All those cars come with the Warren Henry Advantage. There it is. It's a list of stuff. Complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and a 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 days to make sure you like your car, you will. Join me, my mom. They just take such great care of my beautiful wife, Vivian. Lots of my friends come here too. So join us all. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best service, always the best price. Always Warren Henry.
This is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. A lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
She's tremendous, that Rebecca Carlson. She makes me look good, and that ain't easy. She's helping some of my clients look good. Boy, are they hard to make look good, but she's doing a great job with them too. I think she's tremendous. She's part of the Fried on Business family. You should be too. You should call me. I'm helping families with all kinds of things. We're doing shopping center development, condo development, apartment development, bridge loans on land, healthcare and wellness, memory care. What do? I work with wonderful people. They're my clients. My clients are great people. I introduce them to tremendously wonderful capital sources that are caring, that solve for yes. And then we get together and do deals. I hope that you and your family would want to join us. just reach out to me, DM me, email me. You know how to get me. And when you do, and you reach out to me and we connect, you'll know one thing for sure. When you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Boy, I'm really trying to contain myself because the coffee is just making me nuts. We're back with Olivia Ramos, the artificial intelligence expert, really smart futurist, and we're talking about the Internet of Things, which is something that really can be scary given the fact that the news people tell us that that's what's used to, mass up and do all these hacks. But Olivia is going to tell us what we can do to protect ourselves and other stuff too. Welcome back, Olivia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
My pleasure.
We left off on you saying that operating expenses should not be public information. Now, I'd like to unpack that a little bit. So operating expenses on a building include taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Why is that information important to stay private?
I think that it's confidential to the ownership group. I don't think that it needs to be public. I think that it can be released on a contractual basis. Obviously, if you're getting pass-throughs, the person should understand what they are, but I don't necessarily know that unless it's a condo that person should be able to know the entire overall stuff and that said, it's accessible to you if you're a tenant. You know that. You're just twisting me now.
No. I'm wondering why it shouldn't be available to everyone. Like, why shouldn't we understand?
Because it's internal business operational information. You see,
but it affects the city. It affects our resources.
Oh my God, you're showing me off so good here. You're showing me off so good.
Okay.
People think I'm such a liberal, and here I go being Mr. Republican. This is funny.
Okay, I didn't say that, but I'm asking if a building affects our ecosystem, our everything from our infrastructure to nature, to the way people live, the tenants, the investors. Why is that information not completely transparent?
Sounds to me like that's really intrusive. That's really intrusive. I don't think that needs to be public. Oh, hold on. We're talking about different things. You're talking about the ecological and social impact of the operations of a building, and I'm talking about the private trade secrets of the people that operate the building. Those are two different things.
Give me an example of a trade secret for operating a building.
The way I run my business, that's private to me. If it impacts the environment and other people, you can ask me for the information. If it's not private, I'll share it readily. If it is private, go get a court order. Sorry. Boy, am I a toughie. I think that's the way it goes, though.
Okay, sure. Okay, you know what? Let's leave that alone for a second. You run your private building however you want. Now let's talk about publicly traded buildings in the future of the tokenization of buildings. Now,
I have no problem with publicly run companies having to be fully
publicly run companies.
Huh?
Caveat. Not publicly run companies.
No, publicly traded.
So publicly traded buildings.
REITs.
No, not REITs, buildings. If I'm a property owner.
So you're talking to me about a building. Okay, let me redefine what you're saying and translate it so I understand it. What you're saying is that there's an owner of the building, that owner of the building can tokenize whatever component or factor of that building they want and sell it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If that is the case, and therefore available to a bunch of people who, the public, essentially, should that building be completely transparent, including operating expenses?
If it's available to the public, yes. But that's a completely different situation than a private investor that owns their building privately.
Let me ask you a third question then. What if the building is publicly funded? What if it had grants from the city or CRA? What if it got free land from the city or CRA? Should it be available to the public, all the operating expenses and operations of the building?
Depends on the nature of the capitalization and transaction.
Why?
Why? Because it may be that the public is contributing and the person is buying from the public. For instance, let's make believe that somebody like that wants to build all that. And the way that they do it is they give a public benefit. What's that? They gave them the Baywalk. Right there. They gave them the Baywalk. Where is it? Okay, they gave them the Baywalk. Okay. Now, because related group gave them the Baywalk, should everybody know what's going on there under the
No,
skirt?
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if a developer or a company got free land or grant or
They did. They got extra land use. They got that above my hands because they gave access to the bay in a park. It's called a public benefit. You know what I'm talking about. So
I know what you're talking about, but that's not what I'm saying.
So does that give the public the right to know everything under the skirt there? I think that the answer is no, unless they negotiate it.
Let me ask you something. Let's say
you can't have your extra land use if you don't tell me what's going on. Remember, the public is giving them the right to go higher in exchange for something. Oh, this is an incredible debate.
Let me ask you something.
Amazing.
What is so secret? What are you trying to hide? What is under the skirt? What are you talking about? This is just operating a building. Why is that? Where are the trade secrets there? Give me an example of a trade secret in operating a building.
For instance, it would be the amount of repairs and maintenance that they do versus deferred maintenance.
Wouldn't that be public information? Wouldn't that tell you this is?
Now you're interrupting me.
No. Okay.
Come on.
Fair enough. My apologies. Go ahead.
Okay. Their electrical system and the efficiency of their electrical system, whether or not they run their amenities all the time or they turn them off. Do they like the building at night or not? There's a lot of things that drive stuff. Who wants to talk to me? There's a lot of things that drive stuff. And a lot of that is private. Now, if it's a public owner, no problem. Private owner, I got a problem.
Well,
now, the real question is it a public? Here's a question for you.
Okay.
If I got 700 condo owners, is that public or private? I would say the condos owners would say that their business is private. I would also say that everybody in the world wants to know whether those condos are moving and sinking. You put the GPS on top and you find out. I think everybody that wants to buy a condo there wants to know about how the building works. I think you put everything, I think you could probably put monitors inside the concrete, but then how do you get them out as the technology improves? So you put it on the outside and you watch. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, nothing. 30 years, oh my God, you know? And how about the ones that go 30 years, then 40 years, then 50 years? There's 50-year recertifications here in Miami. And we're only talking about Miami when we talk about that. The rest of the state and the country doesn't have anything. You're up.
Great. As a renter or a buyer of that condo building behind you, okay, should I have rights to all the information on the operations of that building and the performance of that building? And if not, why not?
The condo association does. Anybody that wants to buy a condo there should. I think that
let me ask you something else.
the realtors would want it.
Okay.
I think that it would be, I think in the beginning, it could be used as competitive advantages and disadvantages on who discloses and who doesn't and what you disclose.
And you don't think energy use, water use, and waste management is a city conversation rather than an individual conversation?
Right. I think it's private. I think it's driven by the people. Oh, we're going to have this arm. Oh, we're going to arm. See, this is where
I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on after this break.
Well, we're going to have a, that's going to be this. Look, let's take a break. Let's let the temperature go down, and then we'll come back. Reagan, all yours.
I'll move on.
We're back. This is Freedom Business. We've been on for a long time. Warren Henry's been our sponsor since 2012. We love them. Olivia, I want to have us on with KC Conway and go through this maybe. This would be tremendous. I got him on in like a week or so. Think about it. I just stand back and watch the sparks fly on that one. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry. I look a little funny today because the lighting here isn't perfect. I'm broadcasting from the first generation of the Warren Henry studios. We're going to work on the lighting and we're going to make sure that I look a lot better. Well, we can't change how I look, but that I'm lit better next time. And I want to thank everybody at Warren Henry for always supporting the show and supporting everything we try to do in the community. Larry, Eric, everybody. I love them all here and they love me back. And that's what you want in a retailer today. You can't get that online. So when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you do want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar here in 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audi. They've got that smoking hot Audi sports car. That's what I really want. Saw it in purple yesterday. Not really my color, but I love that car. And down in the Keys, they sell everything. I see these hot Jeeps all the time. I'm thinking about getting one down there. Vivian, she's going to get her brand new SUV from Infiniti as soon as it comes out. She'll get the first one in Miami because she's Vivian. So remember, join me here at Warren Henry. Why? You get everything you buy gets the Warren Henry advantage. That means complimentary service loan and dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and the 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 full days to decide that you like your Warren Henry car. You will. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian. Lots of my friends, we're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service. This is where I go, always Warren Henry. Hey, and reach out to me, Jim Freed. I'll treat you with kindness. I treat everybody with kindness. I get a lot of things done. I'm doing shopping centers, condos, apartments. What I mean when I'm doing them, I'm capitalizing them all the way up to the top, 95% plus in some cases. Call me. I can help you and your family execute your real estate deals. Reach out to me. I can help you with your real estate deals. Why would you want to reach out to me? Because if you do, you'll realize that when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freedom Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freedom Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Hey, we're back. We're on with my good friend Olivia Ramos, my artificial intelligence expert. I'm all gated up today with the Gator, my UF real estate stuff on. Yay, go Gators. I want to thank Olivia for being here and stretching my mind. She always does. We're having a debate on the Internet of Things. Welcome back, Olivia, my artificial intelligence expert and futurist.
Thank you for having me. I'm loving this discussion. I'm a little surprised I'm a little surprised about your reaction because I think that transparency equals accountability. And if you're interrupting me, right? Boom. If we can keep accountability across the city, not only design, sustainability, construction, and maintenance of these buildings and operation of these buildings, imagine if we can track a whole city and understand which buildings have negative patterns. We could fix those. We can learn how to build better in the future. We can connect the things that work between buildings or, from one building to another and put it in a single building and create new models of building. But more than anything, it's keeping our buildings accountable and those responsible for our buildings accountable. So how do you feel about tracking with IoT the construction process, for example? Is that something that you think could be transparent?
I have no problem tracking the construction process from a life safety and an engineering consistency basis, making sure they're following everything. I think that creating a lot of information and data and then processing it is fine. I think that there's got to be some kind of limit to government regulation. Oh my God, did I just say that? You know I did. Do I think that it's good public policy to know the strengths and weaknesses of the structures as much as you would want to know the strengths and weaknesses of public infrastructure? Yeah, this is private infrastructure, but it's publicly occupied. So I think that it's a real balancing act. I think that what's going to happen, and I think that the tipping point, I had this conversation yesterday, but we used it on a different component of this. I would call it the same topic. I think you're 3 to 5 years away from a major event. We haven't had a major event in Miami yet, really, that would address this. We haven't had a water event yet. Once we have a water event, everything's going to change dramatically. They're going to see that the entire city is constructed incorrectly. We're behind seawalls. The seawalls will keep the floodwaters on top of the ground longer than they should be. You'll see the seawalls will go. We're getting off topic, though. The reality is that, well, if we get hit real hard and buildings need to be monitored and some buildings are safer than others, people are going to want to know why. And that's when they're going to vote for what you want. Until then, they won't. Until then, they're all going to say laissez-faire, keep my hands off. But when somebody says we're going to use this information to protect you, then people are going to want it. You're not going to be able to implement this unilaterally through regulation. You're going to have to create elected officials that implement this the same way they're going to have to implement things like better protection for people that occupy high rises. But we're again off of our point. The question is, how do you balance regulation and individual freedom and rights? And it's a big conversation that we have all the time here. I think it even involves this stuff.
No, I think your reaction to this data being public represents the reaction of the developers and the building owners.
It's the industry. I'm part of the industry.
You're part of the industry, and I understand that, and I respect that.
Thank you.
But what I'm seeing is it's a very kind of individual strategy rather than a collective strategy to understand how a city is performing, or how to rate a city for safety, or how to rate buildings on a scale of efficiency. And just to kind of finish my thought, I think it's not going to come from policy, and it's not going to come from the industry. I think it's going to come from innovation in development, where a building operator, a new type of developer, is going to say, my building is going to be 100% transparent, and I'm going to show you why, because it's high performing, low cost.
I have the person for you to try it out on. Okay. I have people in this town that are building new office buildings that are cutting edge, then they're young and they're looking to the future. I'd love to put you on the phone with them to see if they'd like to participate in a trial program for you. I'll bet the guy would say, I'd like to learn more.
Awesome. The
young guy, he's tremendous. I just met him this week through my partner in New York. We're going to try to work on some multifamily. And I think that if you talk to him about all of this, he might be interested in learning more. I think that you're going to have to find people like him that want to do creative office and creative multi, and I think that there is a future in this. I think that there is a demand for the type of building. Remember, 10, 15 years ago, they started with LEED certified and being all that other stuff, and people used it and they thought it would benefit them in marketing. It really didn't. But I think that there's going to be a time when what you're talking about is going to be appealing to the new generation of real estate creators and users. Look what I said, real estate creators, not developers, creators, space creators, environment creators. That's the kind of guy I'm talking about. I'll introduce you to him.
I would love to meet him. And I want to say this, and I want to get your reaction on this. I don't think the industry will have a choice. I think if the future is instant liquidation through tokenization, the buildings that are more transparent will be the buildings that people will invest in as a public, just like publicly traded companies. So they won't have a choice. Yeah, but there's also
going to be a private sector. Okay, there's going to be a big private sector, and the big guys that are big in the private sector that own 5, 10, 20,000 apartment units, for instance, they may not want to put that out there until they see that there's a benefit for it being out there, and that they're paying a rent penalty or of cost of capital penalty.
I don't think it should be that much. Like I don't think they should be penalized for not being transparent. I think they should be rewarded for being transparent. And
well,
the
if there's a reward,
itself,
then the person that's not getting rewarded is at a competitive disadvantage. And this is where we go to break. Reagan, rocket. I want to remind everybody we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. And I want to thank our host today, Warren Henry. We're broadcasting live from the Warren Henry studios here at 151st and Biscayne. Thank you to Larry Zinn, Eric Day, Samantha Wolf, and the entire, of course, Warren Zinn, the entire Warren Henry family, Maytal Stark, my personal service advisor. They treat me like gold, and I love them for that. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar here at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Down in the Keys, they sell all the great nameplates. What do they all have in common? They all are great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means you get complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and the 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 days to make sure you like your car. Guess what? You will. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian. She's getting a new one in a couple of weeks. And a lot of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best service, always the best price, always Warren Henry.
Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
She's great. She helps a lot of my clients look good. Me, that's a rough one, but my clients, she does it for them. They love her. Give me a call. That's just another way I help people execute their plan. My brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. So call me. I want to help you. I'm helping families that do real estate deals all across the country right now, from Hawaii. I'm not kidding. We're doing a deal in Hawaii right now, to Charlotte, closing a deal in Charlotte tomorrow, to Miami, where I'm doing 700 units with a friend of mine, shaking hands on that later on today. Right now, they're talking about my big condo conversion deals that I'm doing. I can't even be on that call because I'm on with you and Olivia. So why call me? People call me because they know that when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Hi, we're back, and we're talking about the Internet of Things with Olivia Ramos. We've only got a few minutes left, Olivia, so I'm going to let you go to whatever it is you want to ask next.
Yes.
Olivia is my artificial intelligence expert and my favorite futurist.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for having me. Okay, so we're discussing the potential of complete transparency and now kind of accountability with the help of IoT in our cities. Now, I want to tell you
IoT is Internet of Things.
That is correct.
We're talking about connecting buildings and generating all kinds of data that Olivia wants to make public, and I say some of which is trade secrets.
Yes. Now, when it comes to tokenizing buildings and being able to have buildings be liquid, which is essentially a new concept for real estate, for the industry as a whole, instant liquidity of real estate hasn't existed.
It's impossible.
Before.
People don't think about it. Real estate is not liquid as it is currently owned and sold.
Not today, but
I just said
in
that.
the future. Oh yeah, perfect. Yes, exactly. So look at these statistics. Retail investors in the stock markets have been growing just in the past couple of years. In 2020, it was 17%. The last metric was 32%. So in a year, it's grown a lot. 32% of the stock market trades are retail investors. The same thing could happen to real estate once real estate becomes just as liquid as stocks, right? Which is the promise of smart contracts and blockchain technology. In that case, if 30%, that's a lot of the market to all of a sudden lose to retail investors, which will bring a lot of competition.
Tremendous impact. It's a tremendous impact on a significant portion of the people that make money. It's going to really impact the way the workforce looks and how it earns a living and where it lives. Goes back to last month.
Not only the workforce, but the industry of real estate. If right now most of it is institutional money and large investment groups and family offices, and very small are retail investors, when that becomes 30%, right? When that reaches 30%, you're going to have a whole new pressure of competition for transparency and liquidity. So what's going to happen to those guys?
No, it's actually going to have an incredible impact on valuation also. I think it'll add a lot of it'll certainly change the marketplace.
Yes. And imagine if more transparency means higher valuation because there's lower risk. So what's going to happen to those guys that are saying, this is private information, I'm not giving this up, this is my trade secret? And are they hiding something?
The answer is that it'll be up to them to decide what they want to release. They'll have to understand what the penalty is. I'll go back to the LEED thing. 10 years ago, we thought that people would be driving rents off of LEED certification. It hasn't happened yet. I had many years ago on now, Ethan Penner, and we talked about the securitization of real estate and that it would not have happened until a certain tipping point event occurred. I think you're going to have a tipping point event occur here. I talked about it earlier in the show.
Right,
I think that the tipping point event that's going to have to occur is that people are going to want to know what's going on in their physical space because it got compromised.
But this is a slightly different thing. This is not the tenant who I'm talking about. This is the investor.
I know what you're talking about.
Equity funding. This is
I don't think it's going to start with them. I don't think it's going to start with the equity people. You want the democratization of real estate, it's going to start with the voters. The voters are going to have to say, you got to do this in your buildings. Then when they do that, I think so.
I think it's driven by economics. If you can get instant liquidity by making your building transparent, that's going to fly way faster than if you make it.
Yeah, but they need to have a marketplace for that. The marketplace doesn't really exist yet. Let's just say it expands like you say at that hockey stick in next year.
Exponential.
I think it's going to be extraordinarily disruptive. I think that you're going to see dramatic impacts on different people. And I don't think that it's good or bad. I just think it's evolutionary. I did not say revolutionary. I said evolutionary.
I agree with you 100%. Now, the question is, should developers today be looking out for that?
100%. It goes back to the last time. The person that's the online person that's in the ground, that's doing the leasing, that's doing the numbers, that's figuring it all out, that's making sure the reports are right, that person's going to run the company in 25 years when they're going to have to be doing this.
Right, but if we have a marketplace.
Who's teaching that person? How is that person learning? How's that person's opinions being formed? How is that going to shape the future of American cities and international cities? I don't know, but we just started talking about it.
Yes, and my question is, if there is a public marketplace for building investments in the next 5 to 10 years,
other than the REIT market, should a REIT market is a centralized market. I'm talking about a decentralized market. I started my career before there was a REIT market. Okay.
Great.
So I understand how ownership structure can change the way information's required to be delivered. Oh my God, did I really just say it that way? So as I'll go back to 30 seconds ago, 3 minutes ago. It's evolutionary, not revolutionary.
I agree. I'm saying, great, we went from a public market, we're going to go to a decentralized market for instant liquidity of real estate.
This is amazing.
In the next 5 to 10 years, I'm asking you, should the buildings breaking ground today be considering this? Today.
100%. I believe they already have a line item for technology and infrastructure. This should be part of it.
Not technology and infrastructure. Complete transparency of operating expenses.
Well, no, that's different. No.
Why?
Because they can't be transparent until they have the right infrastructure and technology in the building. They can't tell you everything you want to know.
Should they include that in the current design? They can't tell you whether it's sinking or shifting. They can't tell you that now. Maybe they can, but they're not. Oh, no, they can. They can. They can. I mean, yeah, the substructure is based on friction. Like any kind of device will tell you if this friction is going out of control or you're losing friction. I mean, there's tons of technologies that can be used.
Okay, we're almost at the end. We're almost at the end. So what should it look like? And then I'll make a comment about that.
Okay. I want to leave you with this. If in 5 to 10 years, buildings will be traded in a decentralized marketplace for instant liquidity, buildings breaking down today should be considering full transparency in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yes. I believe that people that are putting together the pro forma and investment analysis for a property that they intend to own for more than 5 to 7 years needs to consider what the ownership structure evolution is going to be over that 10-year period, because it's so rapidly changed. 60s, nothing. 70s and 80s and 90s REITs. Today, all kinds of nuanced ways to do things, CLOs and all that other stuff where they slice and dice and trade it. And then they tried the Jobs Act and the crowdfunding. Now they're doing that. It's evolved into a more efficient way. Here you go. And by the way, there it is. Thank you, as always, for joining the show today. You're tremendous.
Thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun.
My pleasure. I want to thank Deepblocks for being a sponsor. I want to shout out to all the people that put themselves at risk to make the economy run. I don't even name them anymore. Warren Henry Automotive. We're at the Warren Henry Studios today. They've been sponsors since a long time, 2012. I love these people and they love us back. And isn't that what life is all about? I want to thank Creco AI, Carlson Integrated, the Turkel Brands, the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies. Where is that? Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies. I want to thank you, our guests. I want to ask you to go to our page, like our show, tell your friends. Thank you to our listeners and viewers. I forgot that part. Join our community, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. Website gets lots of hits. Thank you to Mr. Regan Mendoza, which we learned how to say that last week. If you missed today's show, it'll be up on our webpage, readonbusiness.com. This is Jim Fried. Look for me next week. We're going to have KC Conway on, and then I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to put Olivia and KC on. I'm going to try for next month. It's going to be tremendous. Why do I love doing this? Oh, sorry, I messed up. If you missed today's show, it'll be up on our website. This is Jim Fried for Fried on Business. Look for me next Wednesday at noon with Casey Conway. We're going to blow it up and have a great time. Why? Because I just love doing this. Remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Reagan, it's yours.